Hey everybody, if you don't know me already, my name is Kaylee. I'm a gut health nutrition coach and I help people to overcome their chronic gut and digestive issues using the principles of ancestral nutrition as well as some other holistic health principles. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the #1 cause of autoimmune diseases and the cure. So first of all, I just want to mention that about 24 million people in the US currently have an autoimmune disease. So this is a very, very common issue. There are, I believe, hundreds of different autoimmune diseases. So whether you have rheumatoid arthritis, Hashimotos, Graves' disease, multiple sclerosis, lupus, or any other autoimmune disease, this video applies to you. All autoimmune diseases have the same root cause, and there are definitely different root causes of that root cause and lots of other contributing factors, but there is one main root cause, and if you address that, you will heal your issues. So if you've been told by doctors that there is no cure, there's no way to cure it, all you can do is manage your symptoms and pains with pills, that is not true at all. And I don't think a lot of them mean harm, but they just don't know how to heal it. But you can 100% heal your autoimmune disease. So many people have. So yeah, I'm going to tell you of how to do that in this video. But before I get too far into it, I do want to let you guys know that I have a couple of spots open in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing, right now. So if you are looking to heal your autoimmune disease or any other gut issues like Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, IBS, anything like that, and you want help identifying the root cause and then having that step-by-step guidance through that healing process, then be sure to stick around to the end of the video because I'll talk a little bit more about what I offer. But anyway, back to autoimmune diseases. So the #1 cause is leaky gut. So if you have not heard of leaky gut, or intestinal permeability is another name for it, basically what this is when the cells on your intestine, the cells of your intestinal lining, which is only one cell layer thick, when it becomes leaky, so when there are gaps between the cells. A healthy intestinal lining is each cell very, very tightly against each other. I don't have a picture here, but just imagine it's like a brick wall and all the bricks are very tightly against each other. But leaky gut happens when there are gaps between them. And there's a lot of causes of that I will get into, but I just want you to understand there are holes in your gut lining. And typically when you are going through the digestive process and food and anything else that's in there comes along, it has to be broken down into very small little particles, and they have to go through very specific little channels, we'll call them, through your gut lining to get into your bloodstream. So your body is very selective about what it allows in. It wants amino acids, it wants vitamins, it wants minerals, it wants the very small units of things. It does not want a little chunk of egg or a little chunk of bread, because it just doesn't want that. It wants everything broken down first. So when you have these gaps, what ends up happening is these little chunks of food, and this might not even be like chunks as in, you know, you can see this chunk of bread here. It could still be pretty small, but these little chunks of things that normally would never have made it into your bloodstream just seep right on through. Another problem here is oftentimes when we're eating, unfortunately, we're not just getting food in. Sometimes the food is sprayed with pesticides or has come into contact with other toxins. Maybe it was, you know, rice that was made with tap water. So now you have whatever toxins were in the tap water are now in your rice. So unfortunately, we often are consuming some toxins as well. But when you have a very healed, sealed gut lining, that can prevent your body from ever absorbing a lot of those toxins, and they can just go right on out through your stools, which is pretty amazing. But when you have leaky gut, these toxins can much more easily enter your body. Parasites is another thing. We do come into contact with parasites pretty regularly, even if you're not in a third world country. They are just so ridiculously common. So when you have a very healed and sealed gut lining, if you eat anything, it could be lettuce, it could be fish, it could be a bell pepper, it could be anything. You could have like touched dirt and then touched your face or something, you know, like there's a lot of ways parasites can get in your body. But if you have a healed and sealed gut lining, A lot of them will just come right on out in your stools. But if you have leaky gut, they can also kind of wiggle their way into your body and into other tissues and stuff. So let's see. That is a big problem. So let's see. First, I'm going to get into how leaky gut causes autoimmune diseases, and then I'll get more into like what caused leaky gut to begin with. So you have this leaky gut and you have unwanted things coming into your body. So what starts to happen is, say you like to eat bread and you have bread with your breakfast, and that's it. You just like one piece of toast or whatever. But repeatedly, you're getting this little chunk of bread coming through, and maybe you have eggs. Say you have eggs with your bread in the morning, and there's a little chunk of egg coming through too, and it's not that much, but it's a little bit. Your body starts to recognize this little chunk of egg, this little chunk of bread as a foreign thing that keeps trying to invade the body, and starts to remember that. So you start to react more and more to the foods that you eat regularly, because your body is like, wow, this, intruder keeps coming on and in over and over again, and it's identified it. So you have an inflammatory reaction. Inflammation is just part of your body's immune response. Acute inflammation is a good thing. So if I scraped against a branch out here and I got a big gash, it would get inflamed, and that's good because your body is bringing more blood flow to that area to heal the gash quickly. But once it's healed, that will go away. That's acute inflammation. Chronic inflammation is what we get with leaky gut, and that is not good, because chronic inflammation means the inflammation is staying there and it's not going away. So when you repeatedly have these stimuluses that cause inflammation, basically things seeping through your gut that weren't supposed to, you get inflammation over and over again, and you just chronically have inflammation, which causes a lot of issues. But basically, so your body keeps mounting this immune response. You start to develop a lot of intolerances to food. So like if you were to take a food sensitivity test, you would probably show up as intolerant to all your favorite foods you eat all the time, because these are the foods your body has remembered as entering your bloodstream incorrectly and basically developed a reaction to over time. So this is one issue. Another issue here is that the toxins that get in. So one example I'm going to use is glyphosate. So glyphosate is also called Roundup, and what is this? 9 billion kilograms are sprayed annually in the whole world, and the US is like really bad at spraying glyphosate. So if you're here, it's bad. So basically, even if you get organic food, it could, go in the air and end up on another food. It's just so much of it is sprayed. It's in the water, it's in the air. It's, if you don't eat 100% organic, even if you do eat 100% organic, it might be contaminated. So something like glyphosate, which actually is one cause of leaky gut, when it gets into your body, it is very similar to the amino acid glycine. And glycine is an amino acid that is very commonly in our connective tissue and our joints. So glyphosate loves to travel over to your joints, butt out glycine, and seep in. So then it tries to replace that, and you can end up with joints full of glyphosate, which is not good for you. As you can imagine, this is a weed killer, and it has a very long list of side effects. But then over time, say you live next to a place that's sprayed, or you spray glyphosate yourself, or whatever, say you're exposed to a lot of it, over time, you're going to get a lot of that built up in your joints. And because you have this leaky gut, it's just seeping right on in and traveling straight to your joints. Over time, your body's going to look at your joint and go, this is toxic. And it's going to start attacking it. And this is not your body just randomly deciding to attack your knee joint or your shoulders or whatever, your hip. It's your body going, this is toxic, and it's trying to fix it. Your body doesn't just randomly attack tissue for no reason. Now, clearly we want to get the glyphosate out and then heal the body with lots of glycine-rich foods like bone broth. But that is kind of what's happening there. Now, different toxins are going to be drawn to different tissues and lead to different autoimmune diseases. So I use that one example with glyphosate, but there are so many different kinds of toxins that we're exposed to. So your autoimmune disease is going to depend on which toxins are getting in and which tissues they're storing in. But no matter which one it is, healing is going to be pretty much the same. It can be helpful to identify that a little more strongly, to target that area more, but just realize that general concept. So we've got leaky gut. You've got unwanted food coming in that's creating this whole immune response, and that's going to cause a lot of digestive issues. But then you're also going to have these toxins coming in. These toxins are storing in different parts of the body. Then over time, these tissues are becoming toxic and your body's starting to attack these tissues. So that's pretty much what an autoimmune disease is and how it happened. But what made your gut leaky to begin with? So there's a lot of different things. Like I mentioned, glyphosate and also gluten basically trigger this compound or component in your body called zonulin to increase the gaps between your intestinal lining. This also does the same thing for your blood-brain barrier. So if you're getting leaky gut via zonulin from gluten or glyphosate, you're likely getting a leaky blood-brain barrier too, which is not good at all. But anyway, so that's one thing. And this doesn't mean you can never eat gluten. If you have a healthy gut and you're eating sourdough bread from time to time, that is totally fine. If you have an autoimmune disease, I would not recommend that until you're healed. When you're healed, you can look forward to the glorious sourdough bread and that kind of stuff. But for now, you don't want to. Lectins is another thing which is common in grains, nuts, seeds, and legumes. That is an anti-nutrient that is also known to cause leaky gut. And just kind of difficult to digest foods are also going to be a hindrance on that gut lining. They can kind of scrape it. Too much fiber, too much anti-nutrients, any of that kind of stuff is not going to be great. So that's huge. Also, stress can make it worse as well. Environmental toxins can also lead to leaky gut. They can damage the gut lining. Basically, like, toxins and hard to digest foods are going to like puncture their own little holes in your gut. Let's see. What else do I have? Nutrient deficiencies can be an issue because if you don't have the nutrients you need to repair gut damage or gut lining damage, then they can worsen over time. Whereas if you have a very nutrient-rich diet and you're getting lots of nutrients in all the time, especially those ones that heal and build your gut lining, then the little damage you might get from time to time can be repaired and it won't escalate to full-on leaky gut. If you're very nutrient deficient, then you're not repairing it, it's just wearing down more and more and can escalate to a full-on leaky gut, and then from there can even go on to an autoimmune disease. And then one more thing I want to mention that is involved but is like a little bit separate is your detox pathways. So basically, sorry, my foot starts to fall asleep when I sit here. Anyway, so basically your body has its own mechanisms of getting toxins out of your body. So these are going to be like, your bowel movements are huge for getting things out. Sweat is great for getting things out. Your liver plays a huge role, your lymphatic system. Those are kind of the main ones. Your kidneys play a role, like through your urine, and yeah, there's a few other things, even your ears can excrete toxins and whatnot, but basically the main things are going to be your bowels, your sweat, your liver, your lymphatic system. So if these are clogged at all or not working efficiently, like if you notice you're someone that just has a really hard time sweating, or if you're constipated, or if you don't digest fat very well or have other kind of liver issues, then you're likely going to be holding on to a lot of these toxins. Or if you're like overweight and have a very hard time getting rid of fat, even if you're like 10 pounds or 5 pounds or not that much overweight and you just cannot get rid of that fat, that's another huge sign of like toxin overload. So if you're not getting these toxins out, they are storing more and more, which is also going to contribute to that autoimmune disease, because that first main root cause is the leaky gut, but then ultimately it's those toxins getting stored in that escalates it to that next level of the autoimmune disease. So it's very important to get toxins out that way as well, and also limit your exposure and understand that more, which is beyond the scope of this video. I will definitely do a video on toxins in the future. I will definitely cover that because that's really important. So yeah, subscribe and look out for that one. But let's see. Okay, so now I want to go on to how to actually go about healing your autoimmune disease. So So first and foremost, you have to heal and seal your leaky gut. Basically, leaky gut is allowing a river of toxins to flow right on into your body, and you have to cut that off. So you've got to seal your gut, and that is mostly going to be dietary. You've got to provide your body with a lot of glycine and collagen to help heal it quickly. Vitamin A and some other nutrients are super important for healing that gut lining. That's where the daily bone broth is key, and other sources of collagen are super important as well. So that is huge. You also have to reduce toxin exposure. You have to manage stress. You have to cut out these foods that are really damaging your gut lining. You have to support your digestive health. There is a lot of things that come into play here, but that main number one goal of yours should be to heal and seal leaky gut. After you've healed and sealed leaky gut, which is going to involve a whole dietary shift. So it's going to involve really narrowing down your diet. So that's kind of done simultaneously. After that, you want to purge those toxins out. And this is really important to get right because your body works in a funnel kind of system. So if you're not going in the right order, you can end up resurfacing toxins but not being able to get rid of them. So that's why it's really important to understand how that detox funnel works and how to actually get toxins out of your body efficiently so that you resurface them out of tissues, and then they can be mobilized and moved from your lymph to your liver to your colon and out into the toilet and away. We don't want them anymore. So yeah, that's the next step, is to really rid your body of those stored toxins. Now, if you know exactly what your autoimmune disease is and you have a little bit deeper understanding of the root cause, that can be helpful too. So like I said, with the glyphosate in the joints, you can do extra things for your joint care, really double down on that collagen and the glycine. Yeah, there's different things like that. If you know that heavy metals are contributing to yours, you can do specific things to help get rid of the heavy metals. You can use different binders and things like that. So there's definitely more things. Or if your thyroid is coming into play as well, you can do different things to support your thyroid health if you have Hashimotos or Graves' disease. So yeah, so there's definitely more things you can do, but the main thing I wanted to focus on in this video is just that leaky gut causes all autoimmune diseases, because once your gut is leaky, you have a river of toxins flowing into your body and storing in tissues. Depending on what toxins and what tissues they are, it will cause a different autoimmune disease. You can 100% cure it if you heal and seal the leaky gut and then rid your body of those toxins and make sure you have plenty of nutrients to repair all the damage that's been done. And those are the key things. It's not that complicated. That's the simple version of exactly what to do. And you'll heal your autoimmune disease. Yeah, it just works. But I also know that can sound a little bit confusing. Okay, great, but how do I heal my gut? How do I seal my gut? You said I need more collagen. How do I get that? What about vitamin A? What foods have that? Or yeah, well, okay, how do I do this detox pathway thing? So if you want more help with that, that's what I offer in my program, Ancestral Gut Healing. So I go much more in depth and I help you to figure out exactly what's going on with your body so that I can give you personalized support in basically figuring out, what are the root causes of all your gut issues, how you can overcome these. I walk you step by step through this process, and then so you can be symptom free and not deal with this anymore, and you can digest food well and feel healthy and good and really prevent all disease, because this leaky gut to toxin overload thing that I just mentioned, as well as nutrient deficiencies coming to play, is really the root cause of all diseases and all chronic issues. So if you really get a handle on this, you are saving yourself a buttload of medical bills in the future. You are preserving your longevity and you will be healthier as you age. So this work is so rewarding because you get to feel more vibrant and energized and healthy for the rest of your life. So if you want help with that and you want to learn more about it, just go ahead and book a call with me. I'll leave a link down below and you can tell me more about what you're going through. I can tell you about what I offer and basically how I can help you to overcome your autoimmune disease or your other gut issues. Yeah, so if you're interested in that, be sure to book a call with me. I'd love to talk with you. And anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like it, comment something below, subscribe, anything like that, or share it with someone you know. If you know anyone with autoimmune diseases, definitely share this video with them. A lot of people don't know that you can heal it, and just knowing that or having a little bit more information on what's going on in your body can be really relieving. So yeah, if you know anyone with autoimmune diseases, feel free to share this video. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you soon.